The craziest military training exercises. This is going to be good. Let's go.
In 2012, a video surfaced of the Chinese military taking part in one of the most mind-boggling military exercises imaginable. The video, which was leaked from state CCTV, shows a group of People's Army soldiers testing fate with a live grenade. You may be familiar with the exercise.
All right, we get the point there. So let's just pretend these Chinese grenades have a reliable fuse. So you can count on 12 seconds, 10 seconds, something. You're passing it around. Do you pass it to your buddy? If you're at 9 seconds and it blows at 10, do you toss it? Whole thing seems stupid. Now, I have seen those exercises where you hold a balloon to your head or a target and your buddy shoots it. Okay, that seems extreme. Like, I don't get it. You guys let me know in the comments. People seem to love that one. But this one just seems like the Darwin Awards. There is no skill to it. You're relying on this grenade having a fuse that's accurate.
It is designed to turn the merely tough into the super tough. The Royal Marines' much-feared mud run is the toughest part of a 32-week training course said to turn civilians into commandos. You can see why even the strongest recruits dread it. Exhausted, demoralized, and covered in foul-smelling sludge from head to toe, these Royal Marine recruits hope one day to wear the coveted Green Beret, marking them out as the elite of Britain's...
All right, so anybody's a Royal Marine, chime in. I doubt this is the hardest thing they do in training. But having ran in mud, right, this owl snot slick mud where your boot goes in and the suction will take your boot out. If you guys ever done that, let me know. But if you don't have those things laced on, number one, you'll lose a boot and get your leg out. Is a pain in the ass. Stinky part, who cares? But running in that stuff would be a challenge. I've never done that specific course, but I have done stuff similar just even as a civilian, where you get into that owl snot slick mud that's like quicksand. It's no bueno.
The recruits spend up to 45 minutes in the mud that is so thick they can barely run, doing exercises and games, and it is so difficult that getting through it really builds team spirit. We're not just looking for physical strength, but mental resilience as well, and the team cohesion that comes from getting through the hardship together.
Now, I think this guy's overdoing it. I don't think this is probably the hardest thing, like I said. 45 minutes, anybody can do anything for 45 minutes. But that does suck. That looks like some nasty shit.
There is an argument about whether some people are genetically wired to handle colder temperatures, or whether one must build stamina for lower temperatures by training in colder environments. The U.S. Navy SEALs put this to the test in a very palpable way. They do this through surf torture, also called cold water conditioning. The water temperatures usually hover around 65 degrees Fahrenheit and never go above 68 degrees Fahrenheit. From there, trainees may be ordered to do some calisthenics.
Well, I guess the question is, what's going to get you to hypothermia faster, right? So super cold, you're being hypothermia faster. 65, it'll just be slower. And I don't know if you can condition yourself for cold. I do think if you've been cold before for durations of time, you don't stress about it as much, just like being hot. So if you grew up in Canada and then you go to Paris Island in June, it's going to be a shocker to the system how hot, how humid it is. Same with the cold. So I do think you can probably condition for it, which basically means your mind telling your body, or at least your mind saying, this will end.
Or run a mile and a half down the beach in their wet clothes and boots. Then they're ordered back into the surf.
What do you guys think about that? I do think the water is a great equalizer. There's two parts to it, right? The cold, which could be cold weather training, or the water. And some people just don't like having water rush up their nose, being confined underwater. That's a big thing.
The Russian military isn't known for having a gentle touch, so it should come as no surprise that their counterterrorism operations training is really tough. But just how tough is borderline insane? Russia's Federal Security Service, called the FSB, and successor to the KGB, shoots their agents center mass to give them confidence in a terrorist-controlled situation where bullets might be flying by their heads. The trainees, wearing body armor, absorb a few rounds before firing shots back at the target. In a video, the man in front of the target is Andre, an FSB operator, who doesn't flinch as 3 rounds zing by his head. They are forced to...
I still don't get that. I know a lot of people say it's to build confidence in your team. If there's any guys that served in the American military, have you done this? I think I know the Russians do it. I want to say I've seen the French do it. And it probably is a great thing. I was not a special forces operator, so maybe that's why I don't know about it. I'm just not educated. It just doesn't seem like it'd matter, right? It doesn't seem like it'd matter to the operator or the person or the victim, right?
And motionless, and then they wait for someone to casually walk past them, but then suddenly draw a pistol and shoot them repeatedly in the chest. After taking these hits, they are to return fire, and they have to aim just inches away from the attacker's unprotected face. In a second drill, the trainee is given multiple cardboard targets to shoot, but while he does so, he is pushed and shoved by trainers, who yell in his ear, while guns fire immediately adjacent to his ears.
Now that can make sense, right? So yelling in his ears, stressing him, gunfire going off near your ears. Let's say you got ear pro on, earplugs. It's still going to be loud, but you're going to feel the concussion. All that kind of stuff makes sense. But shooting someone in their body armor for the sake of it, I just don't see it.
These are all supposed to simulate distractions on the battlefield and enhance the trainee's focus in stressful situations.
Oh boy.
Cobra Gold is one of the Indo-Pacific's largest multinational exercises. It's also the one where U.S. troops drink Cobra blood. The exercise includes events such as an amphibious assault demonstration, landmine destruction, and a combined arms live fire exercise. But probably the most photographed event is the jungle survival training, during which Thai instructors.
Well, that wasn't a cobra. That was some sort of python. But let's start off by saying this Cobra Gold's a PETA favorite now. So it makes sense. Is it for the press now and for entertainment value? Sure. But in the last resort, you can't get some water. All you have is stagnant, nasty water. Yeah, I'm sure you get a little vitamins and some water from the Cobra. I think this now has become a photo op for the military and the media.
Share with the Americans their knowledge of life-sustaining jungle sources of food and water, plants, insects, and, of course, cobra blood. For instance, some plants can be a good source of water, and there are a lot of different fruits available for consumption. But when those options aren't available, Marines can also eat geckos, gibbons, and even scorpions. Then, of course, there is one of the most iconic aspects of the Cobra Gold jungle survival training, drinking cobra blood. Royal Thai Marine instructors showed the troops how drinking the blood from a cobra can help them stay alive if there is no drinkable water, and can also provide essential nutrition. The pictures show the Marines with their heads tilted back and sticking out their tongues as the instructor drips the blood down their throats. It's not for the squeamish, and even some hardened Marines appear to have their eyes tightly shut as they get their taste of the cobra blood. In contrast, others seemed keen to have a drink of the blood of the deadly serpent. According to Marines who have taken part in exercises in
I think it's a novelty. Let's just say you had one cobra for yourself. I don't think you're going to get enough water out of it to matter. Maybe some nutritional value, which probably not going to matter. At that point, you could probably find something better if you are in the jungle, right? A leaf that's got water on it, something, because I can't imagine you're getting that much blood out of these things. I think it's for entertainment value. What do you guys think? Survival training, bushcraft, just come into play. I guess maybe it's on the 1% likelihood chance, or the 0.1% you'd actually have to do this.
The cobra blood tastes fishy.
Yeah.
Belarus is not known for its human rights or its progressive politics. Many people consider it to be the last remaining dictatorship in Europe. And of course, to keep the dictatorship in power, the government needs an extremely fearsome military. Nicknamed the Fire Walk, this exercise requires the soldiers to complete a 10K run with occasional bits of fire interspersed across the course. Sometimes they will need to walk through the fire, and other times they need to scale walls covered in flames. The Special Forces are undoubtedly an imposing unit. Belarus's ruling party has...
Now, I've seen plenty of courses with smoke on them, right? I guess maybe they don't have smoke grenades. They're using a fire... I guess, makes some sense. I'm not sure it makes you any better to do it outside. Smoke grenades seem cheap enough, but maybe that's the way they do it in Belarus.
Accused of using its special forces to assassinate opposition leaders. Taiwan's Marine Corps' Road to Heaven is the final stage of a grueling 10-week amphibious training program. In order to become frogmen, candidates must crawl 164 feet over jagged, porous coral rocks in a pair of shorts. The road to heaven starts with a hard fall from standing to planking position. The fall looks to be tough on the elbows, but immediately after, the recruits begin to crawl through the sharp rocks on the points of their knees.
Now, I don't think this is any training value. I think now this is tradition now for these guys. It's the culmination of their training. I don't see there's any value beyond just tradition and maybe sense of pride. Now, what do you guys think? Put that in the comments. Maybe there is. Maybe I don't know. I don't see you ever having to do this. And if you had to, you just do it. I don't think you can train enough to make this something you're good at and enjoy.
And elbows. In some ways, the training simulates a landing on a rocky beach, but it appears to function mainly as a test in which the trainees must will themselves to conquer pain. The path has 10 stopping points, and at each one, the recruits must stop and perform an exercise. As they make their way, instructors pour salt water on them to exacerbate the pain of their open wounds. Friends and family of the trainees are encouraged to attend in order to make the soldiers more self-conscious. At the end of the long, rough road, they finally earn their place among the most.
Actually, they don't look too bad. It looks like it would hurt. I'd expect to see more cuts or scrapes, but I don't really see a lot.
Elite soldiers in Taiwan. Back in 2012, two videos surfaced on the internet. The first showed Chinese soldiers breaking bricks with their heads for training. The second one similarly showed the South Korean army breaking concrete with their heads. Many believe this is merely to show the strength of the People's Liberation Army.
I think it shows the idiocy. I don't see how that's relevant at all. Done some videos about these things, martial arts demonstrations. I think they serve a purpose, but not for military training. I don't see how that serves any purpose. Taking a brick and breaking it over your head, karate chopping it. I don't see how it's any military training. I know it's entertaining, but how that serves to make you a better soldier, not seeing it.
Combat were simply a matter of showmanship, then the PLA would be near invincible. But military officials are acknowledging that such displays have few practical applications and are reconsidering the amount of time that troops spend on such training. The shift is a small but symbolically important part of China's broader effort to modernize its military. Going to war isn't a performance, Zhang Aijun, commander of a special operations brigade in Beijing, told PLA Daily, the official newspaper of the Chinese military. Troops training must stick close to the realities of combat and pay special attention to the urgent need to strengthen fighting skills. This is why the Chinese army discontinued the practice in 2014.
Yeah, I think it's more of a ritual now. Something they do because they've done it, rite of passage, people like to watch it, but it's definitely not training.
Martial arts performances are a trademark, PLA Daily said of the brigade, which it did not identify in detail. For many years, they relied on these skills to display their abilities and win much praise. However, do these stunts have a practical use on the battlefield?
No.
Both U.S. and South Korean soldiers took part in an impressive cold weather training drill in 2017. More than 400 soldiers took part in the drill, 200 South Koreans and 220 U.S. troops normally stationed on the Japanese island of Okinawa. The exercise has been held since 2013 to train the military to be able to fight at temperatures as low as -4 Fahrenheit. More choreographed than tactical, the troops perform for a horde of media, which at times seem to outnumber the North Carolina-based Marines and their Korean counterparts during this annual
You just said they were from Okinawa. I guess now they're from Camp Lejeune. These programs are always wonky, but what do you guys think of this? So they're in Okinawa. They go to Korea to do some exercises. I think it's worthwhile. Let's see what kind of wacky stuff they're going to do now.
An environment like this is unforgiving, said Captain Thomas Rigby, 33, of Company A, 1st Battalion, 8th Marines. The company commander from Red Bank, New Jersey, said his Marines used the harsh locale to focus on cold weather squad tactics and decision-making skills. Rigby said historic fights like the Korean War's Battle of Chosin Reservoir, in which Marines fought off and escaped a massive Chinese assault in 1950, have cemented the service's can-do, go-anywhere attitude. We're a jack of all trades, he said. We fancy ourselves to be able to fight in any climate and place. The idea is to acclimate soldiers to any intense conditions they may find themselves in.
Now, out of all that wacky training, what do you guys think is the most beneficial and the most a waste of time? See you in the next video.